Leavenworth, my city, is a prison city. In my district, I've got Fort Leavenworth, which has the military disciplinary barracks, and I've got the U.S. Penitentiary with 1,400 guests of the federal government. And then right down the road, we've got the Lansing Correctional Facility. And we used to have a facility, well, it's still there. We have a facility in our city. It's just outside my district, like by like less than a mile, called the Leavenworth Detention Center. And the purpose of that facility used to be for federal prisoners that were awaiting trial over in Kansas City. They were housed at the Leavenworth Detention Center, and the facility was run by a company called CoreCivic. So last year, in March, I think it was like February, March, the Biden administration finally started doing something about immigration. And they had all these folks that they needed to hold until they could get status, which basically meant a show trial so that they could get refugee status so that they could live in the country legally. Because when they would pick somebody up who'd committed a crime, they didn't know what to do with them. And so that was their solution. But they didn't have any place to hold them. And the Biden administration, the beginning of the administration, had passed an executive order that said that private prison companies couldn't hold federal prisoners, which had shut down Leavenworth Detention Center. So all of a sudden they've got this problem. They've got folks that they're finally starting to round up because it's election season, and they don't have any place to put them. And so they came to Leavenworth County, the government of Leavenworth County, and said, hey, we'd like to contract with you to hold them, and then you can contract with CoreCivic to be the contractor, and then they can run Leavenworth Detention Center to hold all these, to house all these illegal aliens until we can get them status and they're free to go. As you can imagine, I didn't like that plan very much because those folks would get once they had refugee status, if they had been looking out the window at Leavenworth and thought it was a great community just like me, they could say, well, I want to stay here. And they could walk right out the front door, and then we've got to take care of how many illegals decide to stay in Leavenworth. So I screamed bloody murder, and I got as many of my neighbors as possible scream bloody murder, and we shut that down. So fast forward to January. Finally, January 20th, we're going to do something about the border, and we're going to shut it off, and we're going to round up all these folks, there's 20 million folks that have flooded our country. And we got to do something with them too. And so the Trump administration asked CoreCivic, because the first thing Trump did, or one of the 100-some executive orders that he filled out, was overturning the Biden administration's ban on private prison companies. He asked DHS and CoreCivic to reopen the facility so that we could hold all the detainees that they're picking up until we can get them on a plane at Kansas City International Airport, and we can get them back to the country that they came from. I love that idea. I love that idea because it brings back the 300 jobs that Biden destroyed when he took office and he signed his executive order. I like that idea because that facility right now, because it's dormant, is barely paying any property taxes. It'll be paying about $2 million more in property taxes, which will lower the property taxes for all the homeowners in our county and in our city. I love that idea because I want to get rid of all these illegal aliens that came to this country illegally and are have no legal right to be in our country. And so, of course, as you can imagine, some of the folks who feel the same way as some of the folks in this room have sued to stop the CoreCivic from reopening this facility. And they've done it through our city government, because our city government is controlled by Democrats. Our Democrat mayor is suing to stop Trump's plan to deport all these illegal aliens. I think they're going to fail. I think they're going to fail because The way they're trying to do it is they're saying that CoreCivic needs a special use permit because of some ordinance that CoreCivic had already been exempted from, but they're going to go to court in June, and I'm pretty sure they're going to fail, and CoreCivic's going to open. And I am thrilled that my community is going to be a small part of fixing the 4 years of disastrous open borders. And while I'm at it, let me tell you some of the things that came with those open borders. Last year, or 2 years ago, our police responded to 48 fentanyl overdoses. A dozen of them were fatalities. It's getting more lethal. This year, they only responded to 38, but 11 of them were fatalities. And so all the stuff that came with all this illegal immigration, I'm ready to see it all go. And like I said, I'm thrilled that my community is a small part of the solution.